Okay, here we go. Our first chat in the red letters. We're going through red letters. We're just going to start in Matthew, kind of try to follow it as close as we can, just going straight through the red letters. Everything that Jesus said, we're going to talk about it. And what I'm going to do in this video is simply give you the questions that we're going to talk about this coming week. What we're going to talk about this coming Sunday is we're going to talk about Matthew chapter 15, only the red letter. I'm sorry, not Matthew 15. Matthew chapter 3, only the red letters. And we're just going to look at those red letters. I'm going to ask some questions about those red letters so you can begin thinking about those questions. And those are the same questions that we'll just kind of walk through on Sunday. Now, I'm not a teacher. I don't want to be your teacher, father, or leader. All I want to do is kind of facilitate a great conversation. I want to help us come together on a Sunday morning, I don't care when we come together, but we're just going to come together. This time we happen to be doing it on a Sunday morning. We're going to come together on a Sunday morning, and we're going to talk about this phrase, this particular set of red letters from Matthew chapter 3, verse 15. Here's what it says. Let it be so now, or suffer it now to be. Jesus says, suffer it now to be. It's proper for us to do this to fulfill all righteousness. So Jesus is saying, let me be baptized to fulfill all righteousness. Jesus says, in the King James, it says, suffer it to be so now, for thus it becometh us to fulfill all righteousness. All right, here are the questions we're going to ask, and we're going to talk about this coming Sunday. Why did Jesus get baptized? Why? Why would Jesus get baptized? Is baptism about sin, or is it about righteousness? Jesus said, suffer it to be so now, for thus it becometh of us to fulfill all righteousness. Is it about sin? Is it about righteousness? Was Jesus totally sinless, or is that a concept that has gained popularity with no real merit? Is the idea of Jesus being a sinless person, a sinless human, is there any merit to that idea? What does it mean? What did Jesus mean when he said that baptism had something to do with fulfilling righteousness? Suffer it to be, for this is to do this to fulfill all righteousness. What does it have to do with righteousness? Have you been baptized? Why or why not? These are things we're going to talk about this coming week. When Jesus said us, when he said suffer it to be so now, or let it be so now, it is proper for us to fulfill all righteousness. Why did he say us? Was he referring to the Trinity, or was he referring to himself and other humans? Is the timing of Jesus' baptism important? I mean, it seems to happen very early on in his ministry, like kind of before he begins the miracles and that portion of his life. Should we conclude that he meant something by the timing? Is the timing meaningful? Jesus' baptism happens in a river. Many baptisms today happen in a modern baptistry. Does the location of the baptism matter? Or is it more a spiritual heart thing? Something about what happens in the heart. Does that matter more than the location? Or does the location mean something? There used to be, and there's probably still is in some circles. I just am not in those circles anymore. But there used to be a lot of debate about sprinkling or full immersion. Is that a debate that means anything to you? Should it mean anything to us? Another debate about baptism kind of revolves around the idea of, should it be for an infant or should it be for an adult? Should it only be for a believer? Or should it be for a seeker? Should churches just say, hey, we want to baptize everybody in town. Would you come just be a part of this service? Should we just baptize people randomly? Or is it something that should only happen to believers? Some would say that the bigger issue revolves around whether it's a means of grace or a symbol of grace. In other words, does baptism save you? Does it do something salvific? Does it have some kind of saving power? Or is it just a symbol of Jesus's already done work? Some people talk about it being, about baptism being believer's baptism. That's a term, believer's baptism. Should it only be for believers? Some would say that the people I grew up with. I grew up in a faith where children were baptized when they made some kind of, I don't know, they said they believed something, or they nodded yes to the preacher. And then later, as teenagers, when they had maybe done something inappropriate, they got baptized again because they got all worried about their salvation. And then maybe as young adults, there was some special evangelist came to the church and they got baptized again because they were afraid or maybe they had premarital sex and they thought, oh, I can't be saved. Or maybe it was a boy who had thoughts about another boy, or a girl who had thoughts about a girl. And suddenly they were doubtful of their place with God, and they felt like they should be baptized again. Should baptism be a one-time thing, or does it happen, or should we just keep trying to get it right until we get it right? Do you think Jesus' baptism had something to do with identifying with us? Was Jesus baptized not because of reasons that we typically think of a person getting baptized, but did Jesus get baptized just to say, hey, I am identifying with the human race, with other sinners? Or was Jesus just revealing his humanity and getting baptized like you and I? Did the voice of God at Jesus' baptism affirm Jesus' divinity? Was God saying, this is my beloved Son in whom I am well pleased? Was that somehow God saying, Jesus is the Christ, Jesus is the chosen one, Jesus is the Messiah, Jesus is my Son, and that's different from every other human that I created on the planet? Or, other faiths have rituals involving baptism. Judaism has a practice of washing, ceremonial cleansing. It's called the mikveh. I don't know if I'm saying that right. M-I-K-V-E-H. It's a ritual bath used to purify or symbolize purification and new beginnings. Islam has a ritual where they wash their hands and their feet and their arms. And Hinduism even has pilgrimages to the I don't know how you say it, Ganges, Ganges River. Can you think of any other symbolism, any other maybe movies or books or symbolic things that are about? Maybe they're using water as a symbol or as an initiation to some kind of event or gathering. Is there a group or a faith that you'd be willing to identify with by participating in a symbol like baptism? If so, what would that faith be? If you were going to institute a brand new practice, to say, hey, I want to be a part of a new journey. I want to mark this place in my life. If you were going to do something like that and you were going to create something very new, brand new, what would be your goal or your destination in that journey? What would you have in mind? We're going to discuss all those things and more. Now you say, Josh, what's a place to talk like? What are y'all going to do? It's going to be like this. It's going to be a conversation. There won't be a sermon. It'll simply be a group of people walking through these questions. You might think of it like a book club. We used to say that a place to talk was like a college classroom, but in a college classroom, there's a professor and there's a teacher. This won't be like that. This will be more like it'll be more like a community reading a letter together. Except this time we're going to read one little phrase from Jesus, Matthew 3, verse 15, and we're going to ask all of these questions. And the only reason I'm kind of ahead of this is because I just wanted to help facilitate a great conversation. So I just put together some questions. These are the questions that are kind of gonna start our conversation. You say, Josh, you didn't ask the most important question. You're probably right. It's very important to me that A Place to Talk is not. It's not the Josh McDowell show. It's not about me. It's about us. And so you're right. I probably didn't ask the most important question. And that's why I want you to be here. I want you to ask those questions. I want you to wrestle with my questions. I want you to push back if you disagree with something I said. I want you to be welcome and be a part. And I want you that can't be at A Place to Talk. If you can't gather with us in Hickory, North Carolina this coming week, then use these conversations somewhere else. You're welcome to use these questions. You're welcome to steal these questions. You're welcome to use these questions to start a community in your neighborhood. You can follow along with us. You can play this video. You can throw this video away. You can never watch this video again. It's you and Jesus. It's you and your friends. It's you and your community. We want you to do this any way you see fit. And it's just our prayer, our goal that we, as a result, would become healthier, better, kinder, loving people. And you might even say, well, I don't even know that Jesus is the key to this. That's not the important thing. The important thing is that we become healthier, more kind, more generous, more loving, more helpful, more meaningful people in our community. And that's our goal. So take these questions, use them however you want. And if you're in the area, or you can get to A Place to Talk, or you can get to the Hickory, North Carolina area, we'd love to have you. We will be here this coming Sunday, and we will meet and discuss these questions and have this conversation around the 10:30 a.m. time. You say, Josh, why do you say around 10:30 a.m.? Well, because sometimes we don't start on time. And, there's definitely people here before 10:30. And we would love for you to just come and be a part if you can, if you're in the area. See you soon.